This demonstration follows the day in the life of the accountant using Dynamics 365 Business Central. In this scenario, we will show you how you can gain quick access to some of the key metrics and financial information. Then, as our business continues to grow, we need to accommodate for change in how do I add a new account to the general ledger. We'll then enter a journal expense to that account, and then we'll do data analysis on that information that we just posted. So to begin, in terms of quick access to financials, you'll see as I'm logged into the Accountant Role Center homepage of Dynamics 365 Business Central, I get a wealth and rich set of information right at my fingertips. I've got the headline news that's scrolling in terms of the largest posted sales invoice. I also see key metrics with color-coded associated to it to tell me that it might be of concern, as well as key areas in cash and how many incoming documents I have to review and analyze. As I scroll down, I've got my key vendors, the financial performance. I can scroll through a number of different reports here. I've got cash flow, the embedded Power BI reports, as well as my key accounts. As I scroll down even further, right, my cash flow forecast, as well as in Business Assistant, I've got this aged accounts receivable, my aged AR. And what's alarming to me is to see some outstanding receivables beyond 4 weeks. In fact, 10 weeks on one account. So I can drill into that chart, and immediately I need to take action, or at least notify somebody in the organization to make sure they understand that there's $11,000 that's over 10 weeks overdue. From the home page, I can quickly access the key accounts that we manage our business in our chart of accounts. As well, you'll notice on any of the areas that have a blue link to them. So for example, my net change or balance, these are all areas in which I can drill into further detail if I want. I'll return back to the home page by selecting on the company. And again, as the accountant, I want to make sure I have everything all within a click away, or as most possible tasks that I do perform, and that is to run the trial balance. So it's directly there on the home page. I'll select that trial summary, and now I can see my beginning and end balance for that trial balance report that I just ran. This is set up in preview mode. I can certainly schedule that to run and have it display on the report inbox on my home page. I'll close out that window, and then again, there are some other reports that are key or germane to my role, and that is going to be the financial statements or the financial statements that are run in Excel. So we provide key areas such as the income statement and cash flow and aged AR, aged AP, all within Excel. So when I select on, for example, the balance sheet, that opens it up in Microsoft Excel, and I can perform whatever analysis or other manipulation of the data I need in the tool that I'm most comfortable and typically use. We'll close out of Excel, and again, I've reviewed the business, but now as our business is growing, we need to accommodate for travel expense. And travel happens to be an account we didn't set up on our initial implementation, but I want to make sure that I can do that and I don't have to pay for a consultant to help set this up or an external CPA. So within the home page, again, I'm going to navigate to the top left here. I'll click on Chart of Accounts, and I can either use my mouse to click into the search or the F3 key on my keyboard, and I'll type in travel. Now I see that travel doesn't currently exist in my chart of accounts. However, again, as our business is thriving, it's essential that we capture this level of detail. So I'll select on the new, and now I'll enter in the general ledger account number as well as the name. And I want to then associate an account category, in this case expense, and also account subcategory, just to give me that level of detail in terms of tracking and reporting. And that's it, I'm done. I close the window and travel expense has been set up. So you can see how simple and easy that was, and this experience empowers the users, the accountants, to control the information that they want and need for reporting purposes. Now I need to track an expense off of travel, and we'll show you two ways in which we can perform that. The traditional way of just manually entering the data. So with travel expense highlighted, I'll select on journals, and I'll click on general journals. and it will open up the default batch. And from here, as I select the account number, I can either use the drop down or I can just start to type travel expense and it would populate. I'll enter in the amount, let's say for example, 14,500. Now I can post this transaction as it is without any additional steps. However, in our company, we're starting to track certain expenses by department. And this hasn't always been simple for us in other business accounting systems. However, we've noticed in Business Central this area called dimensions, where I can track based on certain dimensions without having to greatly impact our chart of accounts. In fact, it doesn't impact it at all. So selecting on the dimensions, you'll see opens up a new window in front. And in this case here, I'm going to select the drop down for the dimension code. And I want to select my department because for travel expense, it's important that we track that by department. And since it's by department, it'll give me the list of departments that are available. And that's administration, the production team, and in this case, sales. So we'll just charge that back to sales. I close out. And now you can see here in the dimensions window is the sales. And then I simply post that and I'll select OK. To show the impact, I can open up this report, run this trial balance by period, and you see for this period I've got a new charge of 14,500. So again, just a simple, easy way of not only just creating the chart of account, but then going ahead and posting a journal entry to it. Now you're going to come across scenarios like we do where the organization does more than just one or two journal entries. And so going beyond the traditional accounting system and manual entry, Business Central allows for users to import journal entries directly by linking them from Excel. To do that, I'm going to go ahead and open up again journals. We'll open up general journals again, the default batch. And this time, instead of using the line items and entering it in, I'm going to select the Edit in Excel, and this opens up a template for me to then begin to populate. Now I'll highlight as an example, select the posting date, and then I'll just simply copy and paste my data. So now I've got all of the data that I was going to post in here, the document number, the account type, the account number, a description. If I scroll over to the right, I see the charges, the debit and the debit amounts and the credit amounts. And all I need to do is then publish that to Business Central. It's going to override any line items you may already have in that batch, so I'll approve that. And you'll notice the messaging here on the bottom right. It says the publishing was successful. Let's go ahead and minimize Excel and return to Dynamics 365 Business Central, and you see the data that I had in Excel populated into my journal entry. Now, next step obviously would be to review that and post a transaction and follow the standard procedures or business processes. The last step I wanted to show was just kind of analyzing of an account. And so I'm returning to the home page of the accountant. I'm going to scroll down to the bottom of the screen. And as I mentioned earlier, we have these favorite accounts that I've set up in the way I manage it. And so I can just quickly launch my accounts payable. And then from within the ribbon, again, I can kind of see here by example the account and into the ledger entries and see all the originating entries of that. I can also go to the balance, click on the GL account balance. And now I can see it by period. You can certainly change the view. I have it by default for me by week, but you can change it by day or by month. And again, all these blue links enable me to drill even further detail to the information that I want to do for analysis. So in closing, this was again designed to demonstrate kind of the example of an accountant would benefit from Dynamics 365 Business Central. You'll see how we were able to help reduce clicks, improve control of data, and most importantly, limit errors and ensure correct data entry.